So today I'm just going to be reviewing Altis' new 360 online coach and athlete development resource that they recently launched. Now, before we start off, it's probably important that I disclose that Kevin Tyler, who's the president of Altis, was my boss at UK Athletics going into the London 2012 Olympics, and he hooked me up with this free pass so I could review the site. I'm pretty excited about Altis 360 simply because while I worked alongside Dan Paff and Stuart McMillan at UK Athletics, it's been a while since they left, and I've never actually been to Phoenix to see Altis in person, so I'm kind of quite excited about having the opportunity to catch up on some of the development that I may have missed. So starting off, signing up is really pretty straightforward. There's two options available. You can either pay monthly, $30 a month, or you can go for the $300 yearly subscription. And of course, for a short period, if you put Altis 360 as the sign-up code, you get it for $199. Now, the key differences between this really is that when you sign up for the yearly offering, you get the Altis Agora Council Facebook group, which will be, I think, a key feature in Altis' development offering, because there you'll be able to discuss things directly with the coaches at Altis and also the community they're building around that. Now, once you've paid and sign in for the first time, they ask you a number of different questions. One of the things you can add in there is a handle, so you don't have to use your real name if you want to comment on videos and remain anonymous, which is something that I think is kind of like a nice little feature of the site. Now, essentially, when you get to the site, there's a couple of different areas. You can search either by looking for the author. So you've got Altis as the author or any of the different individuals that contributed to the site. Or you can go to one of the kind of four main areas: the poolside chats, presentations, U of A legacy series, or on tracks information. And they're also accessed through these menu bars here. The other thing you can do is you can look at your favorited posts. So let's just start off with the on-track information. Now, I think this section is kind of interesting because it gives you an opportunity to quickly find out about a few different exercises or drills or an element of training that Altis use. And the good thing about it is you can also interact with the Altis community through this. So, for example, here there's a video a little bit about the T-spine. You've got your tags up here. And also you can leave a comment for them to get back to you on. So for example, if you've watched this video, listen to the voiceover, one of the things that I noticed was that there was an issue here with this athlete's knees coming up off the ground. And in the video it says, hey, if the athlete's knees coming up off the ground, that's a bad thing. So you could, for example, just leave them a comment and see if they want to get back to you. So quite simply, you can put in your question and you can post your comment and ask if you want to be notified when that comes through. And just to show what has happened, I actually commented on this particular hurdles video the other day. Now, basically, in this video, they talk about having the hurdles 3 feet apart, and I was asking for a little bit of clarification around whether that was 3 pigeon steps, which is what you usually use as a hurdles coach, or if it was 3 feet as in the distance, 0.19 meters. Interestingly, Andreas actually got back to me on this within a few hours of me leaving this comment. I think that's interesting as well, because I don't think any of the other people at Altis were actually aware of the fact that I would be doing a review for this site. So it's pretty good that they're getting back to you and any comments that you leave on the videos. So overall, I quite like the on-track idea. It gives you a quick opportunity to just spend a minute or so listening to why potentially Altis are performing certain activities in training. I think this is especially interesting to athletes who are maybe using the site to learn more about or get training ideas. But one of the things I think they could do to improve it would be to have more interaction with the videos. So for example, if they're pointing out key things that are happening, maybe they could highlight those sections on the video clip just so that it becomes a little bit easier to follow. And hopefully that's something that they can improve and do better in future videos. Now, the second section of 360 is what they call poolside chats. Now, having not been to Altis, it's not immediately apparent exactly where the poolside is from these videos, but the basic concept is that these are question and answer sessions, often recorded as part of the apprentice coach program or the performance therapy programs, where the audience asks specific questions to the coaches and the staff at Altis. Now, I personally find this part of the site kind of really interesting because it covers a huge number of topics, and you really get to hear the answers to questions from people with varying amounts of expertise in lots of different disciplines. Now, some of the chats, like this one here, for example, are done in video, but some of the earlier ones are basically audio only. I don't think it really makes any difference whether they're audio or video. It's certainly interesting to have the opportunity to go back and listen to all the different topics that were taken from very early on. You've got everything from stuff about the NCAA through to mental health issues, weight room discussion, all these different types of topics. So one of the things I found kind of frustrating a little bit about these poolside chats is the fact that you don't know what topics are involved in each section. But if you click on it and go inside, in here you can see some of the tags that are in this. So for example, this particular topic covered 400 meters, it covered aerobics, speed reserve and technique. So you can actually find some information out about what's in the video from that. And for example, if you click on speed reserve, you can then hopefully find any other videos where it's actually mentioned. Here it's interesting, it's mentioned in Gary Winkler's 400 meter training video here as well. So I think that's kind of a nice feature. But what I'd like to see is I'd like to see those tags also underneath this information here, so that before you go in and watch a video, you can actually see what content is listed in there, and maybe a little bit more of a description of maybe some of the topics that are involved in each chat. Now the third area of information is presentations. These are essentially PowerPoint presentations given by various members of the Altis team and also a few outside presenters. They're pretty professionally done. You've got the big screen TV up there, and you can listen to a number of people talking about a number of different topics. I personally was down here, and the first thing I looked at, I watched the whole of this sports genetics presentation that I found pretty interesting. Again, there's a bit of a description here, but it'd be nice to have a few more tags up here associated with the information on here. It'd also be nice if, for example, you could get copies of the slides so that you can look at them in your own time. So as you're going through the talk, you can also see some of the information a little bit more easily. Having said that, this has got some great videos on here, and I'm kind of really excited to be able to go through and watch all these. Some great presenters. You know, here we've got Nick Winkelman. If you've ever met Nick before, very interesting speaker. Well, boss Kevin Tyler talking about the 400 meters. Kind of unusual for Kevin to really do much presenting, but so it's great to hear his thoughts there. We've got stuff on genetics. We've got lots of good stuff by Dan. Always great to listen to. And also there's like an Aries Merit Q&A, which kind of I also listened to the first couple of minutes of that, and I found that kind of interesting as well. So this section is really more formal than maybe the poolside chats, typically on a specific theme and more professionally presented. Now the fourth and final section of the site, at least as it stands today, is the University of Alberta Legacy Series. Now if you've ever been to the Canadian Athletics Coaching Centre website, this includes a number of the videos off that website. Some of these videos are like an hour and a half long, and they cover a range of different topics by some of the world's top presenters. Now, when you were to originally get these from the University of Alberta's website, you'd have had to pay something like $16 per video. So the fact that these are, all here, and the presentations go on and on and on, you're really getting some good value for money here. I personally have bought many of these presentations, probably spending $200, $300, $400 on them already. So the fact that you're getting this for your $30 or $300 a year subscription for me is really good. And some of the content in here is just fantastic. Excellent presenters, really good information. We've got Derek Evely and Boo Schuxnader here. Really worthwhile listening to. And it covers the throws, it covers the jumps, it covers the speed events. So for me, this part of the website is worth it on its own. So having taken a quick tour of what the key sections are of Altis 360 at launch, what I would say is that this is clearly aimed at a number of different populations. If you're a coach, I think this is fantastic straight away. It's got all the elements that you need. It covers both practical stuff in short format through to presentations and also more informal discussions. So really you can't get much better. I think when this is also combined with the Agora group, that's where the power for coaches really comes in. You get to discuss the ideas with like-minded people and get the answers to certain questions that you've been raising. Now the second audience that I think they'll be looking at will be people that are athletes. I mean, I know there's a number of athletes out there that either don't have access to a coach or want to learn a little bit more about coaching and make sure they're following the right kind of training programs. And I think here that on-track stuff will definitely be useful. And as an athlete, if I was out there and I was considering coming to Altis, I would definitely sign up for at least a month. Have a look at the content, because you get a real feel for the quality of the coaching staff that you're going to be getting, and also kind of some of the philosophy that permeates through the organisation. Now the final area that I imagine it will talk to will be those performance therapists. I know Altis run a performance therapy program. Right now, as it is a launch, there isn't too much for performance therapy specifically. You can imagine maybe that's something they'll launch in the future. But what it does provide you with is it provides those therapists with background information around training for specific events, and also around planning, periodization, all those factors that feed into the loading of the athlete, which then can result in injuries. So if I was a performance therapist, I'd be looking at this as like a way of kind of topping up my knowledge about certain areas that maybe aren't necessarily covered in traditional therapy programs. So is it worth it? Well, I think at launch, they've already got such a huge amount of information. There's no way I'm going to be getting through this within 6 months. So I think in terms of value for money, just the University of Alberta Legacy Series on its own is worth the $300 price tag. And I think the great thing about this is that apparently they're going to be launching new content on a weekly or fortnightly basis. So a lot of the beauty and value of the site will be that it will continue to grow, and they'll be able to refine the content to the wishes of the audience as they move forward. For me, I think the inclusion of the Agora Facebook group, which comes with a yearly membership plan, will be one of the key benefits to this site. It'll be one of the things that sets it apart from other resources on the internet. The fact that you can interact with the coaches directly through that Facebook group really makes the yearly membership worthwhile. And for me, $300, if I'm only spending $300 a year on my coach development, then this would be the place that I'd spend $300. $300 won't even keep you in a hotel for a couple of nights for a conference. And this site has several conferences worth of content in there just as it is. So I'll definitely be looking into it for my staff, and I would definitely recommend it to anybody out there looking for an athletic specific and specifically a high performance specific resource for coaches, athletes and therapists.